Good evening, folks. My name is Jacqueline Cousins Anita, and I'm here to present you with another wrestling review. I'm going to start off with Impact Wrestling, June the 30th, 2020. Now, this first match is Chris Bay versus Suicide. Chris Bay has Johnny Swinger by his corner. The results is Chris Bay won with the help of Johnny Swinger. The match, I already know how he win the match. I already, I already know, but the match was it was kind of great. It wasn't all that good. A lot of, a lot of drop kicks, a lot of high flying moves. And the second one is they're having a preview. Now, Madison and Josh was talking about the Impact title match. Now, the title is now vacant. Now, therefore, will be a four-man match at Slammiversary. Now, I know why the title is vacant. I heard on the article about how Tessa Blanchard, they're having a serious issue with Tessa Blanchard. I guess they fired her because they haven't heard from her. They haven't sent her any updates of her getting ready for a match. So therefore, they think they assume that she she didn't prepare for a match. So she I don't think they're gonna be wasting their time on her because I don't know. She might they 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 think she gonna go to WWE, but I seriously doubt that. Impact. Well, here's the four men in the match, and it's Ace Austin, Eddie Edwards, and Trey. Who's the fourth guy? Could be Hernandez. Could be Moose, who's holding around the old TNA World Heavyweight Champion that was inactive. I don't know. And there he is, Moose, still carrying around the inactive TNA World Heavyweight Championship. He has a big match against Crazy Steve. Moose also stated that he won millions of dollars playing in the NFL, and is the five-star athlete. Claims he's the legend and the best damn wrestler on the planet. Legend of who? So so Johnny Swinger giving Chris a pep talk. Johnny talking about buying a referee a fair deal, trying to bribe the referee. Referee was right behind him, and he like heard everything. And the ref told them that the match is going to be called fair and square down the middle, and meaning Johnny Silver will be back at ringside at Slammiversary. So at Slammiversary it's going to be Chris Bay versus Willie Mack for the X Division Championship. So the next one, followed by versus TJP and Reno Scum. The results, TJP won. Even with this big guy with a mohawk, the followed by still can't wait. Followed by and TJP versus Reno Scum. Followed by and TJP won, even with the guy with the big mohawk. Reno Scum couldn't pick up the win. Here comes the locker room talk with Madison Rain. So Johnny Swinger complained about being banned from ringside. Madison don't have time. Well, she got an important topic to talk about, so she don't have time for this swinger drama. As though she claims. She introduced Johnny Bravo as she introduced his. She asked him about the thing between him and Rosemary. He acts like he don't know what they're talking about. Madison wants Bravo to help him introduce Rosemary, and then Rosemary comes in. Johnny says you can feel a sexual tense, but he meant himself and Rosemary. That was okay. TJ, TJ, Johnny Bravo now steps in and takes up for Rosemary. Johnny Bravo and Johnny Swinger now going at it with each other. Madison tries to get their attention, tries to break up this fight. Madison asks Johnny Bravo if he's in love with Rosemary. Taya Valkyrie comes in. Before he even answers the questions, Taya Valkyrie just comes in unannounced, just sits her butt in the seat. And then makes it all about her, you know. Taya Valkyrie asks Rosemary to be her tag team partner. Rosemary says yes, and they both left the show together. The the North comes out supposedly address Ken Shamrock's attacks. Apparently they talk about they outsmarting him or some shit or something. They point out that he never had a tag team partner nor any friends because he's crazy. But in WWE, I used to see them in groups a long time ago. I know, I remember this guy. Ken Shamrock comes out looking for a fight. Um, ECU Sammy Callahan, who needs a friend, comes out saying who needs a friend when you got an enemy. Here appear along with Ken Shamrock and attack the North. Sammy disappears. Sammy disappears. And then all of a sudden, Ken Shamrock is left alone. He appeared along with Ken Shamrock to attack the North, then he disappears. Scotty D'Amore just got off the phone with somebody. The North Ethan Page complained that he and Josh Allison were jumped by Ken Shamrock and Sammy Callahan. D'Amore quickly solves the problem by putting the North in the match with Sammy Callahan and Ken Shamrock, so they got a title match with them. And the North Roses. I thought that's gonna be the best way to get their revenge. Magnus versus Eric Young. At Sacrifice. So this is the old. I saw this old match of Magnus versus Eric Young at Sacrifice, and it was in April 2014. I'm thinking to myself, I was watching this wrestling show, and I kept thinking, and they've been doing this forever since the pandemic. I'm thinking, why are they putting up old matches? I guess to remember the time when wrestling used to be great. Okay. The Moose versus Crazy Steve. Moose won, but then he attacked Crazy Steve for no reason. Tommy Dreamer came to his aid. Moose attacked Tommy Dreamer. Then Tommy Sims moves a message about what wrestling and hard times is really about. He he even accused of Moose of looking for a paycheck. You know, he was talking about all his histories with the NFL, and he got kicked out of the NFL, and he couldn't cut it with TNA, so he came back to steal the title and claim he the champion. The title that was supposed to be in the storage. And Tommy got a point. Now I saw this match with Kira Hogan versus Havoc. She won by hitting her Havoc. Kira Hogan versus Havoc. Kira Hogan won by hitting Havoc with her own mask. And that, last but not least, Man Vulture versus Trey. I saw this match. Madam Fulton won by disqualification basically because Trey hit this man in the head with a chair. Of course, the man is Fulton is big, so what else can he do? Now on to NXT, July 1st, 2020. American Bash Night 1. 35 years ago, the name the pay-per-view was created by Dustin Rhodes 35 years ago by a pay-per-view. I think it has something to do with the American Dream. The Fatal 4-Way match in elimination match is like it's medium tagging Knox, Candice LeRae versus Dakota Kai. Candice LeRae got eliminated first, then Mia Yim, then it's down to the two rivalries, Tegan Knox and Dakota Cox, and Tegan Knox ended up being the number one contender for the women's NXT championship. Damian Priest was interviewed. He addressed the Cameron Grimes after the slashing of the tires, attacking him to win a match. He challenged him for a match. So Bailey and Sasha Banks getting excited for a match. Then it cuts to Bailey and Sasha getting excited for a match. Timothy Fletcher versus only Uni Logan. I forgot to pronounce his name. I gotta. So it was a lot of submissions, and then Timothy Fletcher ended up winning. Cameron Cross as Scarlett has a promo. And then it cuts to Cameron Cross as Scarlett's promo. Rhea Ripley takes on Ania Robert Stone in a handicap match. Robert goes on an interesting ring attire, which is boxing, and he's wrestling. Rhea Ripley. So here's the stipulation. If Rhea Ripley lost, she gonna have to join a Robert Stone brand. But it turns out that Rhea Ripley won, so she don't have to join the brand. Here's a promo with Roderick Stone and Dexter Lumis, which is kind of scary. Then it's a match between them two. It's a strap match. Roderick was so hesitant to put on a strap that Dexter has to force on him because he was taking his time putting it on. Or maybe he don't want to put it on. Bobby Fish interfered in this match. Come to find out, Dexter Lumis won by submission. Keith Lee and Adam Cage gets their promo. which is the match coming up in the night too. Candice LeRae is being interviewed about the Fatal 4-Way. Then Johnny Cage was taken up for her. Then Candice went up there to attack Mia Yim. Johnny Gargano gets involved and then almost get into a fight with Isaac Swerve Scott. Santos Escobar comes out with Raul Mendoza and Jacqueline Wow. He started talking about luchadors and what luchador wrestling used to be about. It turned into a sideshow with Drake. It turned into a sideshow. Wait, they was talking about luchadors and what luchadors wrestling used to be about until they turned into a sideshow. Then Drake Maverick shows up. Turns out he came out with a neck brace on around his neck. He goes after Santos, but the two other guys started jumping him. Ben Diesel ended up saving Maverick and Cameron Grimes. Ben Breezango ended up saving Maverick. I had to edit that video. Cameron Grimes responded to Priest, and he says, in a narcissistic way, he also started that he is the number one contender. I didn't see him fight to be the number one contender to the NXT title. Then it's Mercedes Martinez promo, which he'll be wrestling on the next show. Sasha Banks with Bayley versus Io Shirai. Now Banks and Bayley comes out with a dog in the car. And they came in the car. Bayley blowing the match start right in the middle of the match. And Io Shirai almost had Sasha. Bayley blowing a car horn, causing distraction. Io tries to do a moves on Banks. She kept fighting. One of the highlights. I'm just saying the highlights of the match. So Io finds her way out of the Banks statement. Nobody broke out of that statement. Then Banks threw Io Shirai through a glass table, which was one of the highlights of the match. Io does a submission on Banks. Bayley threw the title in the ring. Now the ref is fighting with Banks. Now the ref is fighting with Bayley to get a title. Banks tries to get the belt out of the ring. She then breaks out of the submission. Bayley knocks out Io Shirai. Ref takes the belt away from and Bayley grabs it. Now it's the tug of war with them two. Sasha grabs the belt, trying to hit Io Shirai with it. Here comes Asuka to spoil the scam. Bayley gets pushed to the wall, and Io Shirai came out victorious. And then her and Asuka celebrate. So AEW Dynamite on July 1st, 2020 on Fyter Fest. I got a headache. I feel like I like the show. I like how the theme is set up like a summer party with all the girls in a swimsuit. So colorful and beautiful. Now Chris Jericho, the champion, comes out to in a orange, like red, in a red and white plaid shirt with Canadian leaves. Like cause he's from Canada. He got Canadian leaves on his suit. He joins the commentary with Excalibur, Jim Ross, and Tony Giovanni. MJF and Warlord versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. MJF complains that Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus is now, the fight is for the ratings. MJF is wearing a pink ring attire with burgundy. Of course, Wardlow is already had a victory over the Luchasaurus, he says. That was MJF words. He beat Jack Perry. Jack Perry, could it be Junk? Are you, that's how he's referring to Jungle Boy or Marco Stunt? And then he claims that he let him have the glory. They're referring to Jurassic Express. Real Maxword male, and then he says his real name as Maxwell. I'm not saying that name. It's Maxwell Jacob Freeman. He says his own name, his own real name. The match starts. Impressive step move up by Wardlow and on Luchasaurus. Marco Stunt gets involved and almost got killed. MJF had a ring. He had a little ring, a ring that you put on your finger. He had it in his hand trying to hit somebody with it. Accidentally hit Wardrobe, and JB pulls out MJF, Jungle Boy, and that's how Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus have a victory. These are the highlights I'm pointing out. So AEW has a ridiculous, okay, AEW is supposed to be about wrestling. I don't understand why this AEW has a promo with puppies. I don't get it. I didn't watch that. It was an all elite wrestling battle royal puppy battle royal. I didn't watch it. I didn't like how they use animals like that. It's just, so on to the Lance Archer fight with Joey Janelle. He was backstage. Sonny Kiss was holding back Joey Janelle. Penelope Ford faces Hikaru Shida for the women's championship. So Kip Sabian was finally kicked out at ringside. We don't need a guy in a women's match. Then he puts his hands on Hikaru. Then they say he puts his hands. Then they say he put his hands on the referee, but he didn't touch the referee. I didn't see him touch the referee. So the match starts. Hikaru becoming more aggressive. Penelope was while in this match, and while Penelope had a hold of Hikaru, she was arguing with Big Swole outside the ring. And she was going all in. Big Swole. Penelope gets in the ring, grabs the title. The referee stops her. She was I guess the referee's too busy with Penelope. Kip Sabian gets in the ring. Comes in, tries to knock it out of Hikaru with her own kendo stick. Then she ended up hitting him instead. Then Hikaru Shida was victorious and she's still women's championship. Okay, John Moxley's promo. So Taz explaining the difference between Moxley's other opponents and Brian Cage. So Taz saying that Moxley won't be able to do a finisher on Brian because of how thick his shoulders are. But Brody Lee was bigger than John Moxley, and he was able to beat him to keep the AEW championship. I saw the match. I'm not making this up. So Taz was explaining this thing called the underhook, like the John Moxley was doing in the match. She was explaining the underhook. Jack in an underhook, which is John Moxley's finisher. It's I can't explain it. You're gonna have to look at John Moxley's match. It's on Elite, All Elite Wrestling on the YouTube. They have it on the YouTube channel. So the next is Jake Hager with versus okay Jake Hager versus Cardelina. Wait, Jake Hager with Cardelina versus Cody Rhodes with Anderson. So they both got people at the side of the ringside. That's a problem. And this is part of the reasons why I have a problem with wrestlers with managers, because Arn Anderson do it a little bit. Most managers like to cheat. That's the thing I got a problem with when I'm looking at wrestling. So Jake Hager goes after Arn Anderson. Cody saves Anderson. It ended up in a suplex. Jake and his wife was talking to his kids, telling them how they loved them and all that. It was the kids they were talking to. Who else would they talk to? So Catalina walks over Cody's back while he was down. And this is what Catalina does, and that's what I don't like about this wrestling match, is they got managers that's doing all that stuff. Catalina walks over Cody's back while he's lying on his front side. Then he hits him in the face. At first, when they was doing the standoff, she was pouring water in his face. The other people behind him didn't do nothing to Jake. I don't know how she was there. I think Jake probably made her do that. I don't know. Okay. So I was writing my notes and I didn't bring up the fact that Dustin Rhodes came over and hit Jake Hager. I forgot about that part. Wow. I think Arn Anderson distracted the ref. Dustin hit Jake Hager while the ref was talking to Anderson. And when he was pinned, Jake Hager thought he won. But then reality hits him. When Jake found out he didn't win, guess what he did? Argues with the referee, then he knocks out. And that's how he got suspended. But a couple of weeks later, he came back for suspensions, and I don't know how that shit happens. So, Darby Allin won't deal with the fact that he's not medically cleared. So, he wants to go out and skate. So, this dude is so impatient that he has nothing to do. He don't like the idea of sitting at home and rest. So he wants to go out and skate while he was injured. While he's injured. Good idea. Good idea. That's a great idea. Go out and get some exercise by going out skating and causing more I don't know. So I'm gonna move on to Santana Ortiz and Private Party with Matt Hardy. That was so Ortiz got on a mask. So Santana Ortiz double fooled on both teams of Private Party, which is one of the highlights of that match. Commentary says nothing about that, and that's one of the highlights. That's the best highlight ever. And of course, except for of course, including of course the diving out of the ropes from Private Party, knocking down Santana and Ortiz. Then Private Party somehow come out victorious. Oh, I forgot Santana tried to cheat by using the little rope thing, and Mac took it from him, and Ortiz got mad. Uh, First Jericho threw a water bottle at one of the Private Party team. I forgot his name. I don't know his name. So he threw a water bottle at Cassidy. Cassidy looked like he was gonna get him, but kind of walked away. And Jericho got pissed and went and grabbed it, went and grabbed him. Everybody starts holding him back. Cassidy's not doing anything, and then Pete was holding him like this. Let this man go. He's not even doing anything. Then there's Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus are being interviewed for their big match with Best Friends. They say they'll beat every tag team before, but this coming match is different. I think Best Friends deserve this match because they have bring the best performance. They have. So next up, Brian Cage comes out with Taz. So Taz says he found out he's having a match with Fight for the Fallen on July 15th because of the fact that and Brian Cage will face John Moxley for the AEW Championship because of the fact that John Moxley has to be tested. John, he was very concerned about the safety of other wrestlers, so he got tested twice and it was negative for COVID-19. Well, Taz said he's afraid of Brian Cage. That's not the point, though, but I'm going to say it. He's afraid of Brian Cage because he should, and he should. He also stated that when he comes back, he'll be tested again. Okay, why would he need to be tested again if he's tested twice? Because they don't take sloppy work, take sloppy seconds or whatever. So this pay-per-view for July 15th is Fight for the Fallen. Nine's best friends versus Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega. I don't know the name of the guys from Best Friends. Y'all need to help me out. I know Trent and his mom drove the team Best Friends to the ring. So then MJF, and this is the highlights of the match. FTR comes out for a visit. Hangman Page, Kenny Omega won the match. Or that next week, that Private Party is also going to get a title shot. So FTR offers a beer to Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. Kenny, he had a, well, they, FTR had a problem with Kenny Omega laced in liquor. See, I see that he's not much of a beer drinker. Then FTF was going at Kenny Omega for doing that. Then Young Bucks comes out, and it's like an all-out fight and an argument. I guess that's it. That's good 35 minutes. I'll come back with another wrestling review. Until then, love you all and good night.